Hi everybody, Odin here, welcome back to Overwatch Champions. This week, we're going to be taking a look at the new map, Eichenwalde. This map shares some structural similarities with other existing maps, particularly the last point, which is a lot like King's Row. Today's episode will be covering a lot of the attack strategies on Eichenwalde and showing you some flank routes and spots that you might not know about, as well as some suggestions. So let's get right into it. Eichenwalde is an epic battle entailing the story of a band of drunks stealing the battering ram and storming the Lord of Cinder's castle. Well, at least that's what the signs on the map point to. I hate to think what would happen if you plunged the coiled sword into this guy. Yeesh. Capturing the point is hard enough already. Eichenwalde is by far the most intricate map Blizzard has created to date, offering a ton of open areas and line-of-sight breaks that promise to mix up the combat in interesting and sometimes unpredictable ways. There are a lot of options for both the offense and defense to utilize, and plenty of flanks to turn the tide of a fight. As usual, I'll provide some suggested heroes for each point, so let's take a look at some of the recommended routes and strategies for the attacking team. The first point is a little bit awkward at first glance. There are actually a few different ways to attack this point, and it's really easy to get caught off guard by hidden defenders, since there are so many nooks and crannies. You can either push directly onto the site in the center lane, using either the straight shot or the flank on the left to push around. This is the most direct approach. You can also use Lucio to speed through the underpass at the bridge and take the high ground. If you have a ranged DPS like Hanzo, Soldier, or McCree, I would suggest potentially leaving them behind up there for the initial fight, unless they have a DPS station on the porch. If you're successful in taking this point, it's a good idea to put your DPS on the porch until you capture and get the payload moving so that you can keep an eye on your back flanks. I would suggest using either Reinhardt or Winston and Zarya for this push. They give you some cover while you're moving up into the drop down, and it's generally safe to have a shield or some sort of way to protect yourself if you're not sure what you're going up against. The second point becomes much more vertical, and the defending team has a perfect vantage point to just simply rain down on you. I think Pharah, Winston, Genji, and Reaper will all be very valuable here for their ability to quickly initiate against the defense and allow your ground force some breathing room. There are two main ways to flank with a ground force as well, one of which through the hallway on the left, which is fairly easy for the defending team to see and prepare for, and the flank on the right. This one's great for heroes that can scale walls or have vertical mobility, but can also work for ground heroes as well, as they push through the back and engage the defense on the crenellated bridge. Once you're successfully in pushing the defense off the bridge, you have one more difficult engagement ahead. This bridge has pitfalls on either side, meaning that heroes with displacement abilities like Concussive Blast will be especially dangerous, and there's no cover to speak of as you cross this gap. It's basically just a straight shot, although the defending team doesn't have very much good cover to work with either, so really just laying into them and being wary of knockbacks is the way to go. And finally, the castle. This point is very similar in function to the final point on King's Row. It's a bit shorter and much wider, and with different chokes and vantage points though. Much like the attack on King's Row, there's not much in the way of tricks for the attacking team as a whole, instead relying on individual flanking heroes to make plays. There are a few spots that heroes like Reaper and Tracer can take advantage of, and since the buffs, Hanzo can be very powerful pushing the payload, with great spots for Scatter Arrow to wreak havoc. Reinhardt is definitely solid for any straight shot, and Roadhog is a great option for your team to hook DPS players off their vantage points as well. Keep an eye out for our next video detailing defense on this map, which will give you a much better understanding of this point specifically and how the defense might set up, so that you can formulate your own ways to counter it. That's all for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, hit that thumbs up button if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date for all of our releases, and follow us on Twitter to follow the results of our hero poll. Let us know in the comments which hero you'd like to see next. Genji and Tracer are currently neck and neck, and we'll announce the winner on Sunday. We'll see you next time, guys. I'm off to go get my Dark Souls on, just in case I need to be the hammer against this guy. Ugh.